As I've said many times before, the fact that RuneScape Gold is a valuable real-life currency means that intricate scam rings pop up that try to swindle players out of thousands of dollars worth of RuneScape Gold. Today we're covering one of the more malicious advanced scams I've seen. Since the scam targets small Twitch streamers who have archived their footage, we'll get to see literally every step of this scam. Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It's confirmed that this scam has been attempted at least 10 times, but probably many more. I don't know how much total GP the scammers have gotten away with, but let's stop that now. As I said before, the scam targets streamers with small audiences. These targets are high level and clearly have big banks. The targets I've seen are doing raids with at least a couple billion GP when step 1 of the scam is initiated. That comes in the form of a request for advice. It seems completely harmless. Since the streamers are small, their chat isn't super active, so the scammer comes along and asks if the streamer can check out his raid setup and tell him if it's good enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the setup right now, actually. Did you whisper it to me? So you're rocking the void setup.
Now this is what a regular Gyazo link looks like. And this is the screenshot of the Gyazo link whispered to one of these high level targets. Notice the whispered link has gyazo.nl. It's a fake link that can grab your IP address if you aren't using a VPN. This step can happen a long time before the rest of the scam, even days before. It's important to remember later that now the scammer has the streamer's IP address and can illegally DDoS the streamer, disconnecting the streamer's internet and therefore interrupting the RuneScape session. Before we get to step 2, a brief message from the sponsor of today's video. Thank you to Conqueror's Blade for sponsoring today's video for 60 seconds. Conqueror's Blade is a free-to-play open-world tactical MMO developed by Booming Games and published by My.Games for PC. The game is set in a vast open medieval world and tasks players to create a warlord, build and command an army, and raise an empire. Sieges in this game are 15v15 skirmishes. You can defend your castle or send your army with siege weapons to conquer other castles. You can also create a custom warlord to command your unit with 11 different weapon classes and special abilities to turn the tides of your battles. There are over 75 different units including melee, ranged, and cavalry inspired by history's greatest military forces. The game also has different seasons which are limited time events where you can complete challenges to earn exclusive content like cosmetics and units within the battle pass. Every season is themed, steeped in lore which influences its look, content, and rewards. Season 4 has been released, so if you use my link in the description you'll get a free 7-day premium account to try the game out. Premium accounts give 30% boosts to hero and unit XP, bronze coins, and honor. Season 4 brings a new era inspired by the Ottoman Empire with 2 new maps including a new fortress based on Constantinople. This is also one of my favorite parts about these seasons. Season 4 brings a new server which means new players can enjoy a fresh start, making matchmaking fair. So click the link in the description to check out Conqueror's Blade. It's a super cool game that I think a lot of you will enjoy. Now, step 2 of the scam is the scammer, usually on a different Twitch account, asking the streamer to stake a small amount of gold for him, usually 10 mil. The scammer can be insanely persistent, even when the streamer refuses 5 times in a row.
No, Felke, I don't stake. There are a lot of debt streamers out there. If you want to watch them, feel free to, but personally, I do not stake. I think you'll have more luck finding somebody. I'm saying like you can find another streamer. Yeah, my bad, man, I can't. I refuse to go to the arena. I know it's your money, man, but unfortunately I can't. Get your account up, bro. You know, if you want to stake, you gotta put in that grind, man.
If there's literally one active viewer asking for a long time in the chat to stake for him, I can see how a small streamer would eventually give in. In each example I've seen, it's the same level 62 account that trades the 10 mil when the streamer finally gives in. Username Geechee. So the target goes to the duel arena, and someone in on the scam challenges the streamer to the 10 mil duel. Notice in the clip, the account has already challenged the streamer before the streamer starts auto-chatting the 10 mil stake. This can go on for a few rounds with the scammer in the chat asking to stake another 10 mil or double up if the streamer wins. Eventually, after 2 or more duels like this, the opponent's tentacle whip breaks during a stake.
Did his tent just break?
When a tentacle whip breaks, you get the Kraken tentacle back, but the whip is gone. Here is step 3, and this is the part of the scam where things get too good to be true. It should raise red flags. The opponent whose whip just broke immediately challenges the streamer again. He pretends like he doesn't notice his tentacle whip has broken. In Dubie's example, the scammers in the chat start saying they think it's a broken staking bot. In other versions of the scam, the opponent says he's drunk and starts misspelling words. Either way, the chat starts egging the streamer on, encouraging him to chuck his bank against the opponent who clearly has no whip.
His tent whip's literally broken. What a shame. The other guy had broken whip. I don't know why he would call. He has a broken whip. What do you mean that's so free? He wouldn't have accepted.
But he does want to stake. In fact, he puts up 1.5 billion GP with no whip, but the opponent does have another weapon. a gilded scimitar. Who would ever stake 1 billion GP, rune scimitar versus tentacle whip? It seems like a free 1 bill and the chat says so. But there's one small detail. These streamers aren't prolific stakers. They just came to the duel arena from doing raids. During most high level PVMing, you have auto retaliate off, just like Dubie does here. Fortunately for Dubie, his friend had already fallen for this lure, and people in his chat also started warning him about the scam, so he didn't lose any money. Here's footage of a different streamer who wasn't so lucky. He wants to remain anonymous, which is why the footage is cropped. The same process happens. Ichi wants him to stake for him and trades him 5 mil. He stakes the same guy for a while whose tentacle whip eventually breaks. This time the streamer's opponent pretends to be drunk. This streamer even tells the guy, "Where'd your whip go? Get your whip," as the scammer puts up 2.8 billion GP. Eventually the streamer is convinced by his chat to put up 1.1 bill. The streamer double checks every setting and that his opponent's whip is broken for 5 minutes. The opponent has a DDS, but special attack is turned off. Finally, the streamer hits accept on the second stake window. And that's where the stream ends. The scammers DDoS the streamer right as he hits accept, and then they enter the stake, and since the streamer's auto retaliate is off, the scammer pokes the streamer to death with his DDS. The streamer's internet turns back on later and the stream starts up. He obviously logs in without his 1.1 bill. Super sad to see. Within 15 seconds of his stream starting back up, one of the scammers who was in Dubie chat even asks, "Did you win?" I was curious about the guy who entered Dubie Twitch chat warning him of the scam and was able to get in contact with him. He said he had broken up 6 of these scam attempts so far, and the scammers had been trying to dox him repeatedly for doing so. Luckily, he has a VPN. Now going forward, scammers are very clever and may edit the process of this scam after this video to confuse you or make you think you are in control of what is happening. I would never try to anti-scam people based on a video I make. If anything fishy or too good to be true ever appears in game, I would highly recommend you to simply walk away, pop worlds, and add that player to your ignore list or ban them from your Twitch chat. I did have my own ideas on how to anti-scam these guys though, although I didn't go through with it. For example, it would be very easy to write a script that sends the packet information required to change your auto retaliate to on without actually clicking the button or showing the interface. Kind of like how auto prayer switchers work. So then a potential target that knows the scam could turn their auto retaliate on and likely win the stake with their whip even though they were DDoSed. Obviously, because I've made this video, don't try that, and it would be against the game rules. That would be fighting fire with fire. Although I did try to anti-scam some other scammers at the duel arena. This was much more small scale, and it was sent to me by a guy that I'll call Jay. Shout out to him. I'm sure most of you know now about the low-level maple shortbow scammers that basically give you a maple shortbow and some rune arrows and try to stake lots of money against you even though they're way lower level. Since you can't use the rune arrows with the maple shortbow, you lose. If you try to anti-scam them, they change the settings of the duel to scam you in some other way. You'll likely never trick them, and I wouldn't recommend trying. But they're so eager to scam people that there was an opportunity to make some gold. So I found items in the Grand Exchange that had an official price higher than what they were actually going for. At the time, obsidian plate bodies were going for 1.1 mil in the GE, but were actually selling for 60k less than that. So I brought them to the arena without any cash. I was immediately challenged by some of the bow scammers, but said I didn't have cash, only items. If you're persistent enough, they'll just buy the items off of you for the GE value, so you can pocket an easy 500 or 600k each time you get one of them. I did this 4 or 5 times in an hour before they caught on and felt pretty proud of myself. Make sure to leave a like on this video and keep your eyes open for potential scams in game.